Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the official pre-Grand Final press conference with our two captains and coaches. A round of applause for Chris Scott, Joel Selwood, John Longmire and Luke Parker. I'm now going to hand it over to the media for the first question.
Well, John, can you take us through the decision to drop Logan McDonald and how that conversation went?
Oh, it's not easy. I've been on the other side of that conversation as a player, so it's not an easy thing to do. He's a terrific young player with a great future ahead of him, and we made the decision because we thought that was the best lineup for tomorrow. So very tough for him, but he's a great kid, and he'll bounce back bigger and better.
And is that decision so that Hayden McLean is more of a second ruck option due to Sam Reid not being 100%? And is that correct in saying that Reid isn't 100%?
Well, without actually going through the lineup and giving you our game plan, we've got a few options that we've got in the team tomorrow to be able to use at different times during the course of the game. So we felt that the mix for tomorrow's game and the particular set of circumstances that we've got, that was the best mix for us.
Chris, Max Holmes, obviously you're getting asked a fair bit about him. What does he have to do between now and 2:30 tomorrow to prove his fitness?
Well, he's probably done what he's needed to do from a physical point of view now. So we were hoping we'd be at the point now where we could absolutely say that he was playing. What we do know is it's absolutely not a no. We just need to make sure that we spend the requisite time over the next little bit sort of working through whether, you know, he's absolutely right and whether that's the best thing for us. But we haven't absolutely made that decision just yet.
Chris, congratulations, and Joel as well on another grand final. You've essentially competed nearly every year since you've been head coach. Do you feel like this time it's the right time to lock away your second flag?
Well, I try to think about it, every year in isolation. I think, if you force me to take a step back and have a look at the last decade or so, I think our supporters should be proud of the consistency of our players. And again, they deserve it. They've just worked so hard. We do have an experienced group, but I think they deserve any successes that come their way. They've been a privilege to coach. But I think this year, we go in great form. We've got good availability. I think our game's in really good shape. So as much as any time that I can remember, I feel like we've given ourselves every chance.
And Joel, during the pre-season, you spoke to us about evolving the game plan and improving as the year went on, and really it's played out a lot like that. As far as where the team is positioned for this grand final, how do you feel?
We go in very confident. We know that we had to do a few things a little bit differently than what we've done in the past. We've brought in new players into that mix, and it's been a nice blend. But yeah, we still know what's ahead of us, and that's a strong Sydney side.
John, can you just take us inside Sam Reid's week? Were you always confident he'd get up, and does he have to do any other fitness tests between now and 2:30 tomorrow?
Yeah, we felt that obviously when we subbed him out last week, we didn't push him too hard during the course of the game, so that was the first step. And he's got some scans on Monday, and that was really encouraging. And so we were confident from that point. He did some training on Thursday. Did exactly what he needed to do, and felt really good from that. So, as we sit here now, he's ready to play, and so we get into tomorrow, and we expect him to be playing.
Just ask you on Justin McInerney's the other one who's been under an injury cloud. Have you any concern around him during the week, or were you always confident he'd get up and play?
Medical staff have been terrific, and they were always confident that he'd be right. He finished the game off last week. He went back on the game and finished it off strongly, so that was always a good sign. He did all of training on Thursday, so he's right to go.
Joel, congratulations on breaking Tucky's finals record, the first to play in 40 finals. If you win it, will that be the way you go out?
Another one trying to push me out the door, but that's okay. I just feel so lucky that I've been able to be in a side along the journey. 40 finals, it's probably crept up even on me, but right from the outset, played amongst a lot of good players. And, I play every game like it's my last. This one will just be the same, but we'll have those discussions. And what I will say, that we'll be aligned as a footy club, whatever that is, but there's no resting yet. I've got to make sure that I've got a job to do.
Okay. And a far nicer one. You've got a special little boy running out with you tomorrow.
Yeah, I put my foot in it earlier, but I do. It's an important day. Levi Ablett will be running out with me tomorrow, which when Gary went out of the game, it was pretty hard. We were up north, and our fans probably haven't got to thank him and the family enough. So we thought it was just a little kind gesture that we could send their way.
Luke, just back on Logan McDonald, have you sort of pulled him aside and had a discussion with him to make sure he's okay and keep him up for the week?
I think the boys have been pretty helpful with Logan. I think it's one of the most heartbreaking positions you can be in, and as Horse said before, he's got such a big future at our club, and hopefully this is just a small little step in a downward for him. But look, he'll take it hard, but at the same time, his attitude's been incredible. He's still preparing like he'll play all week. He's trained like he'll play, and that's been his attitude whether he's been playing the reserves or seniors. And his attitude's been incredible. He's been so confident in this team, and he has a big belief in what we can do, and no doubt that'll hold him good stead in the future. So it's obviously really tough for him, but the way he's handled it's been incredible.
And John, what do you weigh up with a call like that, especially when it's a young player who you know is going to get a hell of a lot out of an experience like playing in a grand final, but obviously you're weighing up with team balance and picking the best side?
Oh, we just have to, do the right thing by what the team needs tomorrow, and so that's where it starts and ends. And it's not an easy thing to do, but you go through those decisions, and you need to give yourself the best chance with the circumstances we've got tomorrow to play against a team that's finished 2 games clear on top of the ladder and been the dominant team all year. We need to get it right. We need to get it right at selection. We need to get it right tomorrow in the way we play. And so we know it's going to be a huge challenge, and we need to make sure we get everything right.
Scotty, Sydney's defensive pressure and their run poses a big threat tomorrow. How do you combat that?
Yeah, those things amongst other things. I think they're a well-rounded outfit. They're not a team that I think rely on sort of 1 or 2 weapons to get it done. So that's the thing that sort of we look at. And I think Luke mentioned it before, both teams would have confidence in their system. We don't want to pull ourselves apart just to try to combat all of their strengths, because we'll forget about what we're good at. So, yeah, look, I think their pressure is good, but I think the top 4 or 6 teams this year have been pretty good at that as well. But I don't think that's their only defensive weapon there. That they actually defend with the ball pretty well too. So I think they're well-rounded. Sort of look at it as you'd expect coming into a grand final. Any grand final I've been a part of, I haven't looked at the opposition and thought there are massive holes we can exploit. It just feels eerily similar.
And John, Tom Stewart's a big key for them. He's been able to get loose, in particular across half-back. Have you got a plan to target him in particular, because he's important?
Oh, yeah, he is. I mean, they've got plenty of important players. I mean, he'll find himself loose at different times just because of the way he plays. He's such a great reader of the play, and sometimes you just can't do much about it. A bit like what Scotty just said, we look at what the opposition's strengths are, and there's many of them. If you wouldn't get any sleep if you just thought about them all week. So we've got we understand and respect Geelong's strength. As I mentioned, they're 2 games clear on top of the ladder. He's one of their strengths, but they've got many of them. But it's then making sure that we just remind ourselves of what we do as well. So it's 2 teams in good form. They trust each other's systems, and so that's what will make it a great grand final.
Chris, is Mark O'Connor the next man up if Max Holmes doesn't come up tomorrow?
Probably. Yeah, probably. Like There are 3 guys over the last couple of weeks in our squad in particular that have been desperately unlucky. Mark's been one of them, Sam Menegola's the other, and Brandon Parfitt is probably the other. There's another group of players beyond them, but if you had have asked me 12 weeks ago, I would have said those 3 guys are in our team for sure. So I feel desperately for them. If Max doesn't come up, it'll be one of those guys that comes in.
And Mark's been the sub throughout the finals. Should we expect him again if Max does get up? And have you decided who would be the sub if Max doesn't, I suppose?
Yeah, so I'll answer the last bit first. Yes, we know, but no, we're not going to tell you just yet.
Luke, what did it mean to the playing group to have Lance Franklin say he's going around another year, and what do you think a premiership would do for his legacy at the Swans?
It's bloody exciting to have Lance going around another year. He's the moment he's come to Sydney, I think we look at our success over that period, and you don't have a premiership, but the amount of times we've been right up there fighting for one just shows the amount of success he can bring to a game. I've been front row seats for a number of years of seeing what Bud can do out in the field, and to have him then develop into such a senior figure at the role and now guide this young group through, and to get them up to scratch to this next level and back to where we think we belong is really exciting, and no doubt he's taken a really strong leadership role over the last couple of years, and no doubt again will next year. And his experience, his leadership, his effort out on the field is incredible. So to have him continue to go around, no doubt his body's feeling good, he's confident in himself. I think he just wanted to get off his back and focus on this week.
Chris, we saw Tom Atkins do a defensive job last week, and Mark Wittsarves has done it a few times throughout the finals. What do you weigh up around that this week, and the things that you throw into the thought process around Sydney's midfield?
Yeah, I think they're pretty even and they're pretty deep. So, I mean, I suspect they would say a similar thing about us. So I don't think it's going to be one of those games where one team will go after one player in particular. You know, you can, I think, similar to my answer before about the Sydney game style, if you sort of focus in on a couple of things, you can miss some other really important parts as well. And I think that goes for their personnel. So I think both midfields try to play a pretty balanced system. So I would assume that's the way it would go again.
And just a couple of young guys, Tyson Stengel and Sam de Koning in their first grand finals. You've had other guys that have played plenty, but how have you seen those two in particular handle the week?
Oh, they've been brilliant. Yeah, those two have just been so important in changing the way we've played this year. And part of their success, I think, is their unflappability. To take it in their stride. They both play really important positions, albeit at different ends of the ground. And you know, I think they're embracing the opportunity in front of them. It's been really nice to watch.
Luke, you did a job on Geordie De Goey last week. Is that a role you're pretty comfortable playing, and one we might see tomorrow against one of the star Cats midfielders?
Oh, I think this whole year our midfield as a group has been really comfortable in those roles, whether it's myself, Millsy, Robot, we've done it a number of times during the year. We've got a really balanced midfield, and we think that working together and building that synergy has kind of grown over the year, and we'll continue to do that tomorrow, whether there is someone at different times going to another.
John, watching the players who are playing their first grand final tomorrow during the parade and here on stage, it looks like they really enjoyed it. Has that been something you've encouraged this week to them?
Yeah, that's a great thing about youth, isn't it? You sort of you just go into it and you lap it up and enjoy it and live in the moment, and that's really important to be able to do that. The enthusiasm and the excitement that those younger blokes bring to our team has been critical on and off the field. So, you know, we really feed off that. So they've obviously enjoyed the day. It'd be hard not to. It's a great day to see so many people out here. It was amazing. You know, going down the river and seeing the people, you know, coming up here in the utes as well was fantastic. So, you know, we understand we've got a good core group of younger players. This is their first experience of it. We know that Geelong are really experienced, but you know, they'll be okay. They really enjoy it. They're a good young group, and part of it is just soaking it up, but also knowing when to switch back on to what's really important, and we're confident they can get that balance right.
Joel, Chris, John, Luke, we'll let you go. You've got a game to play tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, please, a round of applause for our coaches and captains.
There we have it, the final word before tomorrow's AFL Grand Final.